I've been teaching for over 17 years. I've been registered to teach for 17 consecutive years. And my main area of teaching has been physical education. So I have a very strong interest in sport. And I also, pretty good, eh? This ball is really slippery. So I can do this a lot better with a non-slippery ball. It's really slippery, this ball. It's just like a ball. I just found it in the backyard. This is really slippery, this ball. This is not a good ball to do this with. What I wanted to say is that I have a very big objection to performance enhancing drugs in sport. They should be banned. Performance enhancing drugs should be banned in Australia. It's bad news. I'm an experienced phys ed teacher. I say that. Particularly in AFL football, the use of performance enhancing drugs is of serious concern. Is a very serious concern because the reports coming through now, the amateurs are starting to use performance enhancing drugs. What does that say for the young people? It's a very bad example for the young people. Obviously, the use of drugs in sport, in Olympics or international sport, national sport, it should be banned. It should be fought and it should be stopped. That's not the reason why people play sport. People play sport for entertainment and enjoyment. And this use of sport now in the modern world for gambling, for pursuit of economic gain, for money, also the way some of these athletes treat women is very bad. Raping women, and you hear reports of sexual assaults on women. It's totally inappropriate. And we should create a war on drugs in Australia because it is bad for families, it is bad for children, it is bad for sport, it is bad for communities, it is bad news all round. And a lot of organised crime is related to drugs. So we have a big problem with drugs, and where it's used in sport, in professional sport, is appalling. It should be condemned. And I don't care what reason they are using to use these drugs. Most of it is to do with their performance, obviously, because of money. Because it's become a multi-million-dollar industry. They need the drugs to perform at a higher level, and therefore, you know, because the money that the industry is generating. Well, it's bad news. Sport is not for that purpose. It's for enjoyment. It's for recreation. It's to live a healthy lifestyle and to have positive interactions with other people. It's not for making money. And if you drug people to increase their performance in sport for economic gain, for money, that's evil. That's wrong. So you've corrupted the use of sport, and it's not appropriate. What I want to do politically is have a lot more investment in Australia in sport. We used to be a great sporting nation, but not anymore. And that's the politicians destroy the teachers. You know. More funding to sport, community sport for children, community sport in general, sport for elderly people, sport for disabled people, sport for people who need to improve healthy lifestyle and living, and that's where the money should be given for the sport teachers and community sport workers to have community sport, children's sport, sport for the elderly, all sorts of sporting activities. And the government has totally screwed up this area, because if you look at councils, the use of council facilities, ovals and parks, you don't see people playing sport in public and public parks and ovals because the government makes it too hard. In Melbourne, there were people throwing a frisbee. I saw a broadcast about it. There's some media reports about it. It was about a year ago. Some young people throwing a frisbee in a community in Victoria. The council wanted them to get a permit to go to the park to throw frisbees. What a joke! What an absolute joke! You know, historically, Australia has always been a great sporting nation, but not anymore, because the government always screws it up for lots of things. And this is just another example. I would love to see community facilities, gyms and ovals and parks used for sport full on for free, and that community groups and children's groups and elderly groups and disabled groups and any group that wants to increase physical activity and sport and engage for in local gardens and local parks and local ovals and gymnasiums and halls to be for free, for them to use it for free. No permits. You don't need a permit to play sport on a local oval. What a joke! Those are the people who are accountable for obesity in our society. Stupid leadership decisions like that. So I say sport should be free for children in Australia. We should have our ovals and gyms used full on all the time for sporting activity. And stop drugging the human population with psychiatric drugs and other criminal practices like that. Because that's causing all these problems. You know, and the medical profession, atheist medical people drugging the human population, it's disgusting. People should be out there running around, exercising, physical activity, healthy eating. You know, exercise and watch what you put in your body. Simple as that. And you'll, generally speaking, live a healthy lifestyle. So there needs to be a lot more physical activity. Facilities should be free. Community facilities for sport should be free for people to use. And then investments should be made to continually upgrade those facilities. Simple as that. If the government just focused on the facility and spending a bit of money upgrading and keeping them in place and keeping them in track, employing a few people to run some programs or you know, timetable the use of ovals in a particular area, then it would be easy. Then it could be used for free by all sorts of community groups, these facilities. You don't need to charge people money for this or that. You don't need to charge people money to go down the park and kick a football around or hit a cricket ball around, do you? You don't need a permit for people to go down to the park or to the local oval, the local gym and play a sporting game. It's absolutely ridiculous. It should be free. If I was in charge of our nation, Australia would win an Olympics. I'm an experienced sport teacher. Australia would win an Olympics if I was in charge of our nation, of Australia. We would win an Olympics. I can guarantee you that. I just want to see a lot more sport in the community. Encouraging funding for that, encouraging use of local government facilities or local facilities, community facilities, to use those facilities for free. Just have a booking arrangement. And some funding provided to just maintain facilities and improve facilities. Simple as that. You don't need to charge people to use sporting facilities, ovals and halls and gymnasiums. You don't. You just need some equipment, a willingness to go there and engage in activity, some equipment and the willingness to participate. Simple as that. You don't need to charge people for that. I've played a lot of sport. I've taught just about all sports. One of the sports I used to do some football umpiring as a central umpire, and for a couple of years I did under 17s and I did under 21s men's, and I trained with the WA Football Umpires Association for about a year, and they encouraged me to stop teaching and and do football umpiring full time at the time. It's going back quite a few years now. But I thought about it, and I was seriously considering it, but I decided not to because I had other priorities and interests. So I loved it for the exercise and the challenge. It was great. I thought, I could probably umpire an AFL game, I reckon, as a central umpire, with the skills and the knowledge I have about umpiring. But I didn't pursue it because, I do other things. I didn't want to give up my teaching because I love all different kinds of sport. But the umpire's decisions should be respected in professional sports such as elite sport, for example, AFL football. That the role of the umpire is, you've got televised umpiring and, say, football and cricket and other sports. Well, it's still the umpire's decision on the field at the time. And some sports should introduce a red card, yellow card system. For example, AFL football should probably introduce a red card, yellow card system for the umpire to exit the players when they're violent off the ground. Because there is too much violence in there, and the problem is the umpiring. But they need to be able to have more power to deal with the situation on the field. So it's a better example for young people, and it's a better quality game that you'll get as well when you've got first class umpiring. So I believe there should be a red card, yellow card system in Australian football, and that the umpire's decisions should be respected, because it's about respecting the umpire's decision. Even if it's a wrong decision, that's just the way sport goes. That's the nature of the game. That's the nature of any sport. You have to respect it. That's the natural part of human interaction and relationship in sport. That part of the process in learning fair play and respecting rules and guidelines is respecting the umpire. So that's a part of the teaching process of sport, that to teach children and people that respecting the umpire's decision and respecting rules and fair play and playing sport hard, but playing in a morally correct way is what should be encouraged. So there should be greater provision for the umpire to take action, particularly in AFL football. I have quite a special interest in that. And therefore the quality of the game will increase. It'll be a much better standard for young people. Get rid of the drugs in sport. Get rid of the performance enhancing drugs. It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. And all the economic corruption associated with it now. The gambling and the profiteering, and it's all about high performances for economic reasons, and the stakes are high, but it's not what sport is for. It's a corrupt use of sport. You should just get rid of it all. Get rid of the drugs. Make it illegal. Make it a jailable offence, like drugs in society. Drugs in sport should be the same, a jailable offence if you use it. So that we have proper sporting endeavour and natural talent and gifts that come out to enjoy the game, either as a player or a spectator. That's what it's for, to be enjoyed as for the player and for the spectator. But if you corrupt it with drugs and money and sex and fame and all this sort of thing, then it's just crap. It's just garbage. So I say that as an experienced phys ed teacher. That's my views on the situation and the issues. Thanks very much.